Okay, we're doing the off season here for year three, and we'll go through the season recap. We won the Super Bowl. Our Super Bowl MVP was Najee Harris. So 39-16 against the Seahawks. It was quite unexpected, but we did all right. So we got weekly awards. We got Alex Highsmith had 6 tackles, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble. Najee Harris had 124 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown, and 8 catches for 84 yards. So well deserving of Super Bowl MVP. We've got some upgrades for players here. Some of these we're not going to worry about. Juju Smith-Schuster, I think we want to put in. Plus 3 catching traffic. Cam Cartwright is our left tackle. We're going to get going. Just some regular upgrades there. And just a couple of backup quarterbacks, probably some practice stuff. I've done some scouting off camera, so we're not really going to do any of that. We don't need to do any stats. Go ahead to the next week and sign some players. I think I've done most of that during the season, so we really won't resign much of anybody. We'll read the retirements though. See if anybody on our team is retired. Micah Hyde retiring. Travis Kelce retiring. Keenan Allen retiring. Russell Wilson retiring. Andrew Norwell retiring. We don't have anybody retiring. Aaron Donald retiring. Cam Hayward retiring, which is part of the reason we traded him at the end of, I think it was the beginning of this year, we traded him to get that first round pick from the Giants because we had traded our first round pick. We don't have anybody to re-sign. Doesn't look like. Oh wait, we do. Never mind. We could re-sign to Nico Autry. He's 36. He's a 72 overall. He's probably going to regress even more. I don't think we're going to re-sign him. George Bradshaw, who's a defensive tackle, not very good. Calvin Austin, I don't think I really want to re-sign him. Got some defensive ends. So I think we've already re-signed everybody we're going to re-sign. So it's the week again. Okay, free agency time. What are we really looking for here in free agency? Maybe another wide receiver if there's a good one that we can get for. I mean, we've got George Pickens and Juju Smith-Schuster, but our next best wide receiver, it's supposed to be Quentin Johnston, but the draft class I downloaded, they spelled his name wrong. So, but he's normal dev. He's an 82 overall. Our next best receiver is Hartwell, who's a 77. So we don't really have a crazy outstanding wide receiver, but Cartwright is supposed to be starting at left tackle. Offensively, we don't need a lot. Malik Cunningham is going to remain the quarterback. Probably at some point, he's going to be up to I mean, he had 2023. He was out for all of 2024. But he's come a long way. He had a lot more touchdowns. He had more interceptions. But he's who we're rocking with. He's got superstar depth. So defensively, Ed Oliver's a 90 overall. We probably need another defensive end or defensive tackle. Levi Wallace is up to superstar X Factor. Cameron Sutton's got superstar. Bernard Stanley, who we drafted last year, is up to superstar. He was an 81 overall, but he only had star depth. But now he's up to superstar. And then Malik Gamble, who we drafted the year before. We may end up drafting another corner because Levi Wallace is 31 years old. He's going to start regressing. And Cameron Sutton is 31 years old. So, I mean, we could get a little younger at corner. That may be what we do in the draft. We've got TJ Watt. He's pretty much starting at rush right end. So we can get a couple of defenses. We don't need a lot. Maybe a receiver. Probably a defensive tackle or a defensive. Let's see who's here. We got an excellent right. Kenneth Walker is here. We don't need a running back. Definitely don't need one. Tyler Lockett is here, but we'll probably only get him for maybe 1 or 2 seasons. So I think we're going to hold off on that. Same with Michael Thomas. He's 33. I mean, he's good. He's interested. I mean, I just think maybe Jabril Peppers is here. We don't need him. Defensive tackle Jordan Davis is here. He's 26. He's not really interested, so we're probably going to have to overpay for him, but he's got superstar development, and he has no offer. But there are some teams interested. We'll give him a 2-year. We've got a lot of cap room. We'll put up the money a little bit. We'll see if he's interested. I'm going to sort by position now. Let's see what wide receivers are here. Darnell Mooney's here. Jamison Williams is here, and that could be really interesting. Because he's only 25 years old. He's an 82 overall. Let's go for it. Let's offer him a 3-year. We'll put the money way up so that he signs. It's a good offer. And we can have 5 active negotiations at a time. Let's see what other we could do more than one defensive tackle. I just don't. If we get someone older, I don't want to sign him to a long-term deal. But it looks like most of the defensive tackles are older. We could draft a defensive tackle, maybe try to get somebody later in the rounds. In the late rounds, but I don't remember seeing a lot of good defensive tackles in the draft class when I was looking first. Corner looks to be a strength class. We could get a defensive end and then move them to defensive tackle. Sam Hubbard is here. I don't know. We could go after Sam Hubbard, but Grady Jarrett is here. I think what we're gonna do is I think we're gonna go after Grover Stewart. Because he's interested, we could probably get him for a little less money. If he's interested. I think I want to go after one more wide receiver and then we'll see where we're at. KJ Hamler maybe? He's only normal dev, but he's a 79 overall. He's 5'9", kind of a speedy guy. We'll offer him 2 years. We'll put the salary down, bonus up maybe a little bit. It doesn't look like maybe he has too many offers, so doesn't look like he really has any offers. Okay, we'll see who we got here. We submitted our offers, so we got KJ Hamler. That's the only guy we got so far. Oh no, it's still only a wide receiver. So we got Grover Stewart and we got KJ Hamler. So looks like Jordan Davis signed with the Jaguars. We got Grover Stewart. Von Bell signed with the Bengals. Jameson Williams, I can't tell because his player thing is in the way. The Jags. He went to the Jags. Okay. So we got KJ Hamler. Just some depth at wide receiver. Nobody too crazy or anything. But we do still need. So we didn't get the other guys. We still maybe need another defensive tackle or defensive. Sam Hubbard is still here. It'd be an improvement over who we have. Maybe like a 1-year deal. Not a lot of money. Not the best offer, but maybe we get him because I don't think anybody else is really interested. Jordan Davis I was really hoping to get, but we did get Grover Stewart. We could try to get T.R. Tart for some depth. At the position. A lot of these guys don't really end up even playing because we have Ed Oliver, we have T.J. Watt. We've got that young defensive end that we drafted last year. I think he ended up being star dev. We didn't know most of the year because he wasn't playing. And then Alex Highsmith usually plays on the edge too, so a lot of these guys don't really end up playing. We're going to make Tier an offer. He has no offers. But we're going to take the money down quite a bit. Okay, and then we'll see if we got any of these guys. We made 2 offers. We may offer another wide receiver here. Let's make a big offer. Let's offer Darnell Mooney. Put the money up. Make it a good offer. 2-year deal. Okay, let's see if we got any of these guys. We got Darnell Mooney. T.R. Tart hasn't decided, Sam Hubbard hasn't decided, but we're in the lead for Sam Hubbard. T.R. Tart doesn't look like he's probably going to sign with us. He's got some better offers. We could bring the money up a little. still got a decent amount of cap space. We're going to need more next year, though, because we're going to have to probably resign Cunningham. We didn't get Tierre Tart. Where did he sign? He signed with the Texans, okay. And Sam Hubbard still hasn't decided. And that's our last eval period, so we have to skip to the next week of free agency. We can see combine results now, so that's good. We've also got our last mock draft, so we can take a look at that real quick. Bo Johnson is the guy projected to go number 1 overall. We know that Rashard Willis is a top 5 talent. He's expected to go number 2. We are not picking until number 14 overall. And they want us to take a projected UDFA punter. They want us to take a punter in the first round. What is wrong with this game that they want us to take a punter in the first round? We could get the punter probably in the 6th or 7th round. Maybe. We kind of need a punter. Our punter's not the best, but we're not taking one in the first round. This mock draft is a joke. We can see pro day results now. The guy I want to take probably. I'd like to very much trade up and get Rasheed Wells. He's a zone corner though. We do play a lot of man coverage, but he would still be good. The guy I probably am gonna end up taking is one of these 3 guys. If they end up dropping to number 14, we may even trade up. This guy's pretty good too. We've got some 95% completed guys here. There's a guy who's going to go, projected to go in the 3rd or 4th round. Rashid Bass, and he's around 1 to 2 talent. We may end up taking him. There's a lot of guys we don't know about, like a lot of the defensive tackles. And there's a glitch in because I'm playing on Steam. There's a glitch when I try to change the scouts at the beginning of the year, it'll freeze up, so I have a really tough time actually getting the scouts I want. So if we could get Bo Johnson, that would be great, but he's gonna go number 1, so I don't think we could trade all that. We can see here if we got Sam Hubbard, and then we'll just go straight to the draft after that, because we don't need any more free agents. Sam Hubbard, we still don't know. Well, he signed with somebody, so we got Sam Hubbard. So we've got Sam Hubbard, KJ Hamler, Darnell Mooney, and Grover Stewart. Which means we might be able to trade one of our wide receivers. Or a draft pick. We might be able to get somebody. We've got 50-year options to talk about here. Quentin Johnston. It's supposed to be Quentin Johnston. I'm not going to pick up his 5th-year option. I'm thinking about trading. but I don't know. We may hang on to him. We may just trade one of our lower overall wide receivers for maybe like a 4th-round pick or something. Free agency recap, and this is the 2026 draft, isn't it? Yeah, this is the 2026 draft. We got our private workouts. There's a couple of guys I'm really interested in knowing if they're any good. We really don't need linebacker. Right end is something we really need, and we could move Bo Johnson. But we'd probably have to trade up to number 1 to get him, and I just don't know that we can make that happen. He's got A block. He's got B power moves. He's a run stopper, so I really don't know how well he's actually going to be rushing the passer. But there's another run stopper. We might do him. We actually don't have a right end right now, so if we can take him, that would be good. There was one of these corners I wanted to look at because we didn't know everything about them. He was going to go later. This guy. He's got, or no, I want to look at this guy. He's round 3 to 4, but he might end up being good. And I think I want to look at this punter, as strange as it sounds, because I would like to know, but I still don't think we're going to know enough about him to actually know if he's any good. And I don't think it was that one. I think it was this guy, Alex Boyce. I don't remember which punter I wanted to look at, so we're not going to do that. I'd like to find another running back or wide receiver that we could put a kick returner, but I just don't know. Some of the playmaker style wide receivers. I wish you could go in and you can't if you press the X button. What's his kick return? A to C. He's got a spectacular catch. And score. This guy's round 1 to 2 though. Let's see what his kick. He's got A to C. How fast is he though? What did he run? He's not the fastest, so I don't think we'll be looking at him. But if we could get like a fast wide receiver. See, a lot of the playmaker guys are just for some reason not as fast, but like the deep threat guys are usually faster. He's the 2nd fastest wide receiver in the draft. First it is pro. A to C kick return. We're going to look at him, and he's not supposed to go until later, but I think we already had him. And I did that. Now it took my other players out that I wanted. Took the corner off because I went into the scouting cards and it took off the other players that I wanted. Was it this? It was this guy because he's got beat man coverage. And I need one more. It was the right end. This guy, I wanted to know what his power was. No, it was Dalton Robinson. No. Who was it? It was a right end. It was this guy, because I wanted to know his power moves were. If I could. Okay, well. That's all of that. Mock draft 5 is out. Who do they have us taking this time? They have us taking Austin Simpson. And they have a lot of the corners that I'm going to want going before we pick. So we're probably going to end up trading up. Advance the league. Go ahead and do the draft. We're not going to do the preseason. I'm not going to. I'm just going to end up skipping over the preseason. I'm not putting it in a video. It's just not that interesting. I mean, unless somebody gets hurt, which Malik Cunningham got hurt the preseason last year, or not last year, but the year before that now, and was out the whole year. But if anything like that happens, we'll go over to the beginning of the season. So we're gonna make a trade here. Because now we've got Juju Smith-Schuster, we've got George Pickens, we've got Mooney, we've got Quentin Johnson, we've got KJ Hamler. I think we might end up trading Quentin Johnson. He's got 49 catches in his career. He just doesn't get on the field. And now with Pickens, Mooney, I mean, KJ Hamler's barely going to get on the field. I think we're going to trade Johnson, and I think we're going to trade Jabari Hartwell with him to a team. Any team that has green interest. And the Bills are interested. But I don't feel like they're going to have better draft picks. The Chiefs are interested. The Colts are actually interested. They have the 6th pick. Let's see if we can get a 2nd rounder for them. And it just went right through. We may have even been, but we got a 2nd round pick. We may need that as ammo to move up. And we're going to start the draft. And we're actually going to pause the draft so it doesn't move by itself. What we kind of have to do here is we have to go into view your draft board and then it'll have to bring up the correct screen behind us here. So
the Chicago Bears are on the clock now.
We kind of thought they would. We kind of thought Bo Johnson would go number 1 overall, and he did. There's a couple of quarterbacks on the board. I want to trade up for this corner.
The Los Angeles Rams now
2.
on the clock.
Okay, well, we're not going to get him, so we're probably not going to move up too much then.
Next up, it's the Packers on the clock.
We were kind of looking at him a little bit. But I wasn't really serious about taking him too much, so.
It's now the Arizona Cardinals selection. They're on the clock. It's now the Indianapolis Colts selection. On the clock now, it's the Miami Dolphins. The Kansas City Chiefs now on the clock.
This leaves an interesting point because now I don't think the Chiefs are going to take a quarterback. But we could still get Amir Irvin. But they're probably not going to take a quarterback. So he could possibly go here. I think we're going to trade up with the Chiefs. And we're going to take one of the players that we want. So it's not that many picks to move up. It's not like we're moving up to number 1. But we're going to use this 14th overall pick. And then we've got a couple of picks in the 2nd round and a couple of picks in the 3rd round. Bunch of 4th round picks. We may end up trading down to get some picks next year. But we're looking to trade with the Chiefs for the 8th pick, and maybe we could try just throwing in a 4th round pick and see where that gets us. And that almost gets us there. So if we trade a 4th and a late 7th, that doesn't quite get us there. We'll do the 4th. We only have one 6th round pick, but we've got several 5ths. So we could throw in our only 6th round pick. That still doesn't quite get us there. Throw in a mid 5th round pick. That still doesn't quite get us there. I think what we're going to do, I really don't want to throw in. We're going to do the other 4th round pick. And we're going to do a 4th round pick next year. That still isn't getting us there, but if we throw in that earlier 4th round pick, 10 instead of 16, that should. Oh, that still doesn't quite get us there. We could do a 3rd next year.
The current pick has been traded.
We should have just done a 3rd next year from the beginning, because. So now we've got the 8th pick, so we're up. The guy I'm looking at is Amir Irvin out of Virginia Tech. He's a man corner. He's not the fastest guy. He's got good agility, good acceleration. His speed is only good. But he still ran a 4.49 at his pro day and at the combine. He's got B awareness, B man coverage, B press, B hit power, C zone coverage even. C tackle. He looks like he's going to be pretty good. But we've our right end we wanted is already gone. So I think he's probably going to be the pick. I mean, he's really just going to be good depth at corner. He's probably not going to play much of this year. But after, I think Levi Wallace and Cam Sutton are only signed to 1-year deals. So I think this is a good pick. He's
on the clock now. The New Orleans Saints.
But he's got 95 acceleration, 92 speed, 90 jumping, 90 change of direction. Strength isn't great, but he could always get upgraded. We're going to keep going.
The Minnesota Vikings are now on the clock.
I can't even read it. Sheldon Whiteside, corner.
On the clock now, it's the Los Angeles Chargers.
Minnesota took a quarterback. Chargers took a quarterback.
On the clock now, it's the Atlanta Falcons.
He's left outside linebacker.
The Jaguars are on the clock. The Baltimore Ravens now on the clock.
Goes to the Jags.
It's the Cleveland Browns now on the clock.
If we see anybody,
it's the Bills now on the clock.
Terrence Gore is gone.
The Dallas Cowboys are now on the clock.
Boston College. Justin Simpson is now gone.
It's the Philadelphia Eagles now on the clock.
Because you have the 6th pick in the 2nd round. And there's a guy here, Junior Kemp, who's a running back. Who may end up being a really good kick returner. He's the fastest running back in the draft, ran a 4.34 at the combine and a 4.32 at his pro day. Not the strongest guy, but he's like an elusive back. Has great speed. Not elite speed, but great speed. Elite acceleration, though. And he may be the guy we're looking for at our kick returner. And if he lasts maybe 1 or 2 more picks, we may trade up. Junior Kemp. We'll see.
On the clock now, the New England Patriots.
To the Eagles, I think that joke just writes itself. Matt Hardy. I mean, if you're a fan of wrestling, and if
now on the clock, it's the Las Vegas Raiders.
I know we don't need a running back. We've got running backs, but we don't really have a guy that we can consistently put a kick returner or punt returner. Bush had a kickoff run back in the Super Bowl, but he's not the guy we have consistently at kick returner. So I think we're gonna trade up here. And he may end up even being a good backup to Najee Harris. Because sometimes late in the season you get the stamina thing where guys get taken out of the game for a long time. We're going to go with our 2nd round pick, our 4th round pick. And we're just going to see where that gets us at first. And we were trading up with the Raiders. They have the 23rd pick. We'll see where this gets us. Not quite there. Maybe we throw in another 4. Not quite. May end up having to throw in a 3rd. I really don't want to have to do that. That's only going to leave us with a late 2nd. And 1/3. If we could throw a pick 110. And I think we're going to have to give up a 3rd. We now don't have a 3rd next year. And we may end up trading down this 2nd round pick. What we could do is not give up that pick. We could give up pick 64 and pick 87. And see how that gets us. That doesn't get us very far. We could give up pick 73 and pick 87. It gets us closer. We could also maybe try giving up a player instead. They need corner, they need tackle, they need quarterback. Don't really have a good backup quarterback to send them. Corner, though. I mean, these guys are on 1-year deals. We could trade Levi Wallace or Cam Sutton, who it looks like are already regressing a little bit. And then our top guys, Bernard Stanley, Malik Gamble, the new guy we just brought in. I mean, if we want the new guy to play and actually do well, then I don't think it would be a bad idea. Levi Wallace, I think, is superstar X Factor, so we probably get more out of him. We may even be able to get another second pick. We offer more industry. No, nothing. The first round, we'd barely get anything for him. So we're going to have to actually throw some picks in here, too. But if we throw in pick 64, that gets it most of the way there. And then we throw in pick 116. That doesn't quite get us there. But I really don't want to trade pick 38 if I don't have to. We'll trade pick 87, Levi Wallace. That still doesn't get us there, so I don't think we're going to be able to move up. Unfortunately, after all of that, I just don't think we have the ammunition.
The Denver Broncos are on the clock. With the next selection, the Lions are on the clock.
And they took a corner.
The Panthers are on the clock.
The Panthers are up.
On the clock now, the Houston Texans.
I think we're just going to keep going till
Next
we get
up,
to our pick.
the Commanders are on the clock. Next up, it's the Seahawks on the clock. It's the Bucks now on the clock. It's the Bears now on the clock. Now on the clock, the Rams. The Green Bay Packers are now on the clock. The Arizona Cardinals are now on the clock.
And we're at our pick. We could trade away this pick. We also have the last pick in the second round. So they would give us a second round pick this year, a fourth this year, and a seventh this year. Get a third this year and a third next year and a fifth this year. We might actually make this pick. I would prefer to trade down. And no, it did not quite freeze up. I would prefer to trade down our other second round pick. Probably won't get as much for it, but there's some guys we have on our board here. There were some wide receivers I was looking at early on. Sheed Bass we're going to take later on in the draft, and he's probably not going to play much. There were some other guys that were like Brandon Richards, who's around 3 to 4, but he's around 2 to 3 player. This guy's projected around 1 to 2, but I don't know that we really need a wide receiver now. And this guy's around 2 to 3. We could probably get him later on. He's got A power moves and B finesse moves. Let's see how far down he is. Kevin Ridley on the board. He's down a ways, but I don't know that we can get him with our next pick. I mean, we probably could, but there's a chance he'll go. And he looks like he's really good. He's about 40 picks down the board. But he's a power rusher. He's got beef and his block shooting is only C. But he's got B finesse moves and A power moves and A tackling. He's Got great speed, great acceleration, solid jumping, solid strength. His strength is only solid, which is a little concerning for a power rusher. But I think we're going to go ahead and take him. He's got hidden dev. He's
with the next pick, the Miami Dolphins are on the clock.
72 jumping. It'll be interesting to see how good he is, but he's got hidden dev, so that's a plus. We're just going to skip straight to the next pick. I'm not going to look to trade up.
The Pittsburgh Steelers on the clock now.
We'll take again in about nine picks. So, who else do we have that's on our board? Sheed Bass is here. We may go ahead and take him. I don't want to lose out on him because he is around 1 to 2 talent. He's projected around 3 to 4, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to go round 3 to 4. He may go early round 3, and this is the last pick of the second round. He's a slot corner. His catching is good. His man coverage is okay. Zone's not great. Not a press guy, but he'll be okay. His kick return is B. We may even be able to use him as our kick returner.
Next up, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the clock.
Good, 93 agility, 92 change of direction. He's pretty fast, so he may even end up being our kick returner. We'll see, because I am a little concerned.
With the next selection, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Look to trade down. A 2027 third round pick from the Browns. We can get a second round pick next year from Tampa Bay. And that might be what we go with. Because we can get a third next year, a fourth this year, and a seventh next year from Indianapolis. But I think we're going to take the second round pick next year from Tampa Bay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the current pick has been traded.
Third next year now, so that would be. We'll use our next pick, though. We'll pick somebody.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are now on the clock.
And at this point, most of the guys on our board are probably gone. The punter is still here in the round 3 to 4 corner, who I may not even take. But there's some running backs here. There's some wide receivers here. We're just kind of taking a shot in the dark on really anybody that's left. I mean, it's the end of the third round. I really don't know who we're going to take here. We can find someone with good kick return. He's got A to C kick return. But he's not really that fast. So I don't think we're going to take Kerry Thomas. If we could find just a good player, that would be good. But a lot of these guys down the board are just not that great. See who's left at corner. We don't really need any more corners. I mean, there's. We need a right end. We ought to just draft a right end because we don't have one. We'll try to see who's the best guy here. This guy's got B to D block shedding, C finesse moves, and D power moves. This guy's got A to C finesse moves, C power moves, C to F block shedding. He's day 3 projected though. We could probably get him later on. I don't know. I don't see anybody really worth taking. I mean, a receiving back with F ball carrier vision. We could take the power back, but I don't see if he's not a kick returner, we're not going to use him. We could take another offensive lineman, but his run block is F, so we're not going to want that. We might just trade down this pick. And I think that's what we're going to do. Just trade it away. We could get a 3rd and a 5th next year. Get a 3rd and a 4th next year from Tampa Bay. We're going to take the 3rd and 4th next year.
We have a trade alert. This pick has been traded.
And it looks like, unfortunately, the game has frozen up. So it looks like I am going to have to close it out and open it back up again. So this will just take a second here. I'll leave this part in the video. It'll be fine. You just won't see anything for a minute. So unfortunately, it's going to have to load back up. So sometimes when you make a trade in the draft, the game will just freeze. And it's unfortunate, but sometimes it happens. So I mean, this game has its issues. But it should take us back.
This is one of those offensive performances that I'll never forget. What a game.
Okay, so we don't have to do the trade again. We're going to advance to round 4 here.
The Pittsburgh Steelers on the clock now.
And we're going to make a pick. And I think, even though it's a little early, if the punter is still here, we're going to take the punter. He's got a kick accuracy, and he's a power kicker. So I'm hoping that he's got good power too, because he's got a kick accuracy. And he's got
the Jaguars are on the clock now.
And his kick power is 88. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good pick. Punters usually don't have really high development traits.
It's the Steelers now on the clock.
We're picking in and 12 picks. I think we're going to trade this pick away too. Looks looks like all we're gonna get. We can get a third next year out of the Raiders.
There has been a trade.
Hopefully it doesn't freeze up again, but it looks like it has for the second time. So we're gonna have to, it looks like, close out the game again, and I don't think we'll be making any more trades. So that's unfortunate, but I think that'll be our last trade. I think we'll use the rest of our picks. But if you've actually watched this video and you're actually stuck around for the whole thing, thank you. Remember to like the video if you actually like the video, and subscribe if you want to see more. Hopefully we can have another
EA Sports, within the game.
season. And hopefully Malik Cunningham.
He tucked that ball away, lowered his head, and boom, end zone.
Hopefully he can have a really good season. He's going to continue to run the ball off Najee Harris. Maybe try to use him a little more in goal line situations instead of just throwing the ball with Malik Cunningham. So that led to some interceptions too. Throwing it at the goal line and it would get picked off in the end zone. Well, we're back to the draft, so
The Pittsburgh Steelers on the clock now.
Selections that way it doesn't freeze up again, because it seems like that's an ongoing issue. Max Coleman's a deep threat guy, and he's got C's across the board, except his catch in traffic is a B. He's got C to F kick return. We really don't need another wide receiver, though. We could use another line. We need a right end. I don't think I ever drafted a right end. I was going to. Even if we can find a left end that's pretty good. There was a right end I was looking at earlier. I don't know if he's still here. He had. I think it might have been this guy with the C to F block shedding. I think we're going to take him. He's got A to C finesse moves, so his finesse moves are at least C. But we really just need him on our roster so that we have a whole team.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the clock.
He's probably not great. But we need a right end. Because we don't have. We pick again.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are now on the clock.
How many right ends are we? We're only required to have one right end, so we're not going to need another one. A left tackle, if we can go way down the board. This receiver looks decent. He's got C's across the board and B catching traffic. He's just not a good. He doesn't give us an option at kick return. We get a linebacker for depth. He could be good. He's got A to C man, A to C catching, and he's more of a pass coverage guy. Charles Jackson. You know, we're going to take Charles Jackson. He's got normal.
On the clock now, the Los Angeles Rams.
He's probably not going to play.
It's the Steelers now on the clock.
Here. We're taking a bunch of guys here. And Or not. I don't know that I'm even going to take that corner. He's a day 3 guy that could end up being round 3 to 4 talent. You know what? I am going to take him. We're going to go ahead and take him with this pick. He's a slot corner. He's round 3 to 4 talent. He's got C-man, C-press, C-catching. He's actually decently fast, even though he's only got marginal speed. He was the 10th fastest at the combine, 6th fastest in his pro day. His strength is okay. We're going to take him. He's got normal.
The Chiefs are on the clock.
Speed, 90 acceleration, 60. There's just not a lot at this point that we can get, and we would trade down more picks, but the game's going to freeze up again, so we're not going to do that.
With the next selection, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Soon, so when the next Madden comes out, I'll be playing it on Xbox instead of Steam. Getting a Series S. So we'll keep this franchise going, but then when Madden 24 comes out, we'll be playing it on Xbox. Thinking about starting up an MLB series as well. So we could take a tight end here. And this guy might be alright. A to C catching, B to D catch traffic, B to D route running, B1 blocking, A to C carrying. This guy could be alright. 4th fastest tight end. He's kind of an athlete. He's got elite agility. As far down the board.
On the clock now, it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Maybe he'll even be the 3rd guy, because I think we have a lineman currently as our 3rd tight end. So
the Pittsburgh Steelers on the clock now.
And we've got a really good fullback. This is usually a time in the draft where I would take a fullback. But we've got a really good fullback. I may take one anyway. There's a guy with A lead blocking. And he's the strongest tight end in the class. With 30 bench presses. I mean, this is a blocking tight end. He's not a utility guy. He doesn't catch the ball. His impact one. We'll take him. He's got normal depth.
Next up, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the clock.
Just somebody to take, late in that was the last pick of the 6th round.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are now on the clock.
You're probably not going to find anybody really good in the 7th round, but maybe time to take a running back. Or this guy looks like he could be good. He's a center. He's a projected UDFA. He's got A awareness, or B awareness. He's got B awareness. He's got C impact blocking, A to C pass blocking, B to D run blocking. He's an athlete too. He's the 2nd fastest center in the draft. His strength, it says, is poor. He's a pass protector. His run blocking's not great, but we'll take him. He's got normal.
It's the Philadelphia Eagles now on the clock.
Again, at a certain point, some of these are just shot dark.
It's the Steelers now on the clock.
And what I'd like to do is, with Mr. L, is take a quarterback. He's not going to play, but he'll be a backup. You never know. Malik Cunningham could get injured again. We may need this guy. A lot of scrambling quarterbacks left. But I think we're going to take Andrew Lange. Andrew Lange. His short accuracy is bad. His deep and medium accuracy might also be bad. They could be okay. His speed is good, even though he's the second fastest quarterback. His stiff arm ability is good. We're going to take a quarterback just because he's Mr. Irrelevant. His throw power is 83. Speed's 86. Probably not going to play. Unless there's an injury. And we'll do the draft recap here. And we'll probably skip the preseason in this video as well. We got Amir Irvin, who's a 76 overall. We got Kevin Ridley, who's a 73 overall. Sheed Bass is also a 73 overall. Our punter was a 70 overall. Dean Brooks, that right end we took as a 66 overall, which isn't terrible. The corner we took in the 5th round was a 71 overall. That fullback we took as a 75 overall, and the rest is, we took a 55 overall quarterback with the rest. So we've got a few players just kind of round out, give us some depth and stuff. We really didn't hit on anybody too much that's really going to play along. We'll see here who the best player in the draft was. The best player was Rashard Willis, who we wanted to take. We wanted to trade up for him. But he went at number 2. And then Junior Kemp, who we wanted to get, was a 76 overall. But, other than the 80 overall corner, there really wasn't anybody crazy good in this draft. There were some 76s. We got one of them, but nobody really outstanding, and we'll advance to the preseason. We'll do the preseason in this video as well. I wasn't going to, but we might as well just go ahead and do it. And we're just going to advance through. If there's any challenges, we'll skip through those. Got some upgrades. We'll do those all at the end of the preseason. We're just looking to make sure there's no injuries here before we get to the season. And hopefully there's not. We have an injury. We've also got a wide receiver mentorship and a training camp standout. We'll see who the injury is. And it's Jahmyr Gibbs. He fractured his foot. And he's going to be out for 7 weeks. So, that's our backup running back, who is pretty good. Going to be out for a while. We've got a wide receiver mentorship here. And it's for McMillan, who was our kick returner, but I don't know if he's going to remain our kick returner. You got +3 power moves and finesse moves, so that's pretty cool. And like I said, we'll do the upgrades at the end of the preseason. Okay, we have to cut 15 players. So let's cut the players before we upgrade them. Andrew Lange, who was... We'll start with quarterback. We've probably got some quarterbacks on our roster we don't need. Tom Whitaker is the backup. Like, he's 65 overall, but he's the backup. We're going to cut Taylor Hall, who I don't even know who it is. Colin Holland. Unfortunately, I think Mr. Irrelevant, Andrew Lange, is going to get cut. We don't really need 3 quarterbacks on the roster. Running back. We have Larry McGee, Brian Bush, and Najee Harris. We really need all of these guys with Jahmyr Gibbs injured. Well, wide receiver. There's some practice squad guys that are getting cut. We'll cut everybody up to McMillan. McMillan was the kick returner. Cut it down. We've got Logan Parker and CJ Jackson. We're going to cut him too. We're just cutting guys that are really not good. A 57 overall center. He's probably our long snapper, but it really doesn't matter. A guy that's a 61 overall, we don't really need. We need Dean Brooks because he's our only right end. We're going to cut him because we've got Kevin Ridley, who is playing behind Ed Oliver and Grover Stewart. So we may end up moving him actually to right end. Tobias Meeks, we're going to cut. And that's it. Got some upgrades here. Hugh Bacon, we're just going to throw in he is. Run block and run block finesse. And the rest we're not going to. All right, we are at week 1 here, and that's where the next video is going to pick up, and we'll be playing the Panthers, and that's it. See you in the next one.